listen, he said, listen, if you guys are so great, why aren't you married?
I'm married.
Are you married? Because for every black woman that's not married, there's a black
man who ain't
married.
Right,
we trying to connect
more women than there are men.
Let me just say this, okay? It irks the freak out of me when men say stuff like that, because why do you guys think it's our fault that we're not married? You know,
because they choose us. T-Bomb.
I could have been married in my 20s. I could have been married in my early 30s. Okay, it didn't happen. So what makes you think I was the one that messed that up, or we were the one that messed that up? We could have been dating a guy, and that guy messed up. So you want me to freaking settle for a man who isn't ready and messing up? And now that I'm in my early 30s, in my late 30s and not married.
You're in your early 30s, girl. It's okay.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm in my 30s and I'm not married. It's my fault because I didn't want to settle for a man that wasn't ready. Kick rocks today. I cannot.
Right.
No, I know it's not my fault, but y'all men.
But men are not as smart as women.
I'm not done. Y'all men in these comments, y'all can kick rocks talking about that women that don't have kids and not married in their 30s, that it's too late for us. No, it's not too late for us, honey, because once again, I'm pretty sure all of us that's not married could have been married. But because y'all men was the one that effed up. So I'm supposed to settle because y'all fucked up? Absolutely.
But Tanya, this is how I be feeling. Let me tell y'all, men are not smarter than.
I'm about to go. I'm about to go. But y'all piss me off in the comments.
No
Always talk about. I'm sorry.
She about to drop the mic and go.
They piss me off in them comments talking about, oh, it's too late for us. Why y'all ain't married? Blah blah blah. The same people that talk about, oh, why we not married? Y'all come to my club, buy sections, not with your wife, and then by the end of the night, you get my waitress' phone number.
And then she be like,
y'all be mad because he got her pregnant and he only knew her for a month.
And then your baby mama, your first baby mama probably look like a.
Let me just say this. Those are not
T-Bomb is not straight. Give it to you, friend.
But did we not listen to what she said? The club that I own, you come to. That was the most important thing of that line, by the way. So
and let's be honest, that's the type of husband that I don't want. So if I got to continue to wait, well, I'm not too far out of a relationship. So I'm not looking to get married right away. For those inquiring minds would like to know. But that type of husband, I don't want that type of husband, honey. So if that means I gotta wait a little longer, then I'll wait a little longer because
Nothing wrong with it. You got people like Ashanti. She's beautiful. She ain't married. She don't got no kids. Who else? Megan Good. Yeah, she was married, but she divorced. She don't got no kids. All these older women don't have kids and not married. So something wrong with them, or was something wrong with the man that they were dating and they was messing up? So whatever.
And it's crazy. Like, why are men so in their feelings? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Well, look at all these comments, how they so insensitive. They're so mad about this situation. I just don't
because
understand.
They like this. They like.
Let's not talk about our.
We love our chat ninjas.
We love
it. Be real.
We have a love.
Oh my gosh! I'm telling you,
and I know y'all gonna talk crap, but I don't even care.
Hi, Congo.
I love y'all. I gotta get back to work. I love y'all.
See ya.
Love you.
T-Bomb. T-Bomb just dropped the bomb and then left.
She did. She dropped the bomb and then was like, bye. I'm not doing
it. That was a lot. I was like, oh.
But yeah, I don't want them husbands that be in her sections doing that
a lot of these a lot of these guys that go to these clubs, they split in them sections upon multiple different bills, and it's not even cute.
Girl, they get together, they say, oh wait, so how much you got on it?
Yeah, I know
I got 200 on it. Don't nobody want to be with no man like that. Come on.
With their homeboys Louis V belt on.
Well, I think that what T-Bomb was saying had some legitimacy to it, but I think that there are times when women are just in these long relationships and the man just doesn't marry. Like we've mentioned several times before, I'm going to keep throwing that number out until it goes up. Only 48% of Black men are married. So with that being said, if you're not getting on your knees and if you're in the chat right now, you have a woman who's been riding for you and you know who you are. And you have not asked her to marry you, you're the problem. You are the problem. So let's not sit here and act like y'all are all married and you're just picking other people. No, you're not. You're not married. Some of you are, and you did the right thing, and more praise to you. But a lot of men are not stepping up to the plate because they don't want that manly role, which we'll talk about next week, because Farrakhan got some things to say to y'all.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, Shantae. Like, why I will say this, because I was with my husband for like 12 years or 13 years or something like that, before we even got married. You know what I'm saying? So we were dating at a young age, so I really didn't want to get married at the beginning. But after you're together for a while, you had a kid, kind of looking like, well, maybe I should get married. Maybe it's time. And then when I started thinking like that, we still didn't get married. And, it took a while. And okay, we were off and on, and then we made, things worked out for us. But I will say, I kind of see a lot of men just in these long ass relationship. And it's like, bro, you're like 35 and you've been with her for 2 years. Like, you should know what you want. Like, why aren't you marrying her? She's good. I mean, I was on my brother's ass because I was just like, you're getting old, bro. Like, you need to find a wife. Like, nobody likes you bringing girls over, and that shit not cool.
But I think that's the thing we don't preach. And moms have a lot to do with that too, because they're like, oh, you don't need to find you a wife. Wait until we've all heard that. It's not just men doing it. Moms do it to their sons. They tell their sons to wait it out. So we can't just blame it on men. Sometimes it be the woman.
Would you tell your son to hold out?
Right.
No, because I have been reading billionaire books, honey, and we're going to spill that tea next week. So everything that these men I've been researching say, that's what I tell my son. And I'll tell y'all next week.
I do think as women in reference to marriage, though, we do have like some responsibility, at least like in this day and age, like we really don't reserve much. I'm not saying like we generalizing, but I'm saying for those specific situations, you could be experiencing a situation where, you're not reserving much for the next stage. And so you've completely built the house and the foundation, but you haven't required anything for the house or the foundation. And so it's just like, okay, well, here we are. Like, we live in a house together. We've been together for this amount of time. Like, the mortgage is in both of our names, the cars in both of our names. We got kids. We basically have everything that would reflect that we're married, but we're not married, versus, at some point being like, yeah, no, I'm not going to put the house in our name. Like, it's going to be in my name, like, unless we're married, like that's something that I do with someone that I'm married to. Or so at some point, everyone has to take accountability when it comes to marriage, especially, women, where it's just like, no, I'm not doing that unless we're at that stage. And especially, in this kind of environment economically where everything is so expensive, people are dating and moving in together for convenience. And it's just like, go find a roommate or go do that with your homegirl. Don't do that with a man. You know what I'm saying? That is probably not going to be the man that you really want to spend the rest of your life with, or maybe even a man that you even know well enough to bring into that kind of space. So, it kind of goes back into that whole vetting process and really making sure that you're disciplined enough to reserve, what is for the next step.